Hello friends, welcome to yet another session on tenses. I'm Soni and I'll be your trainer for the session today. We've talked about what do we understand by a tense, and we've also discussed in brief the three kinds of tenses. Let me tell you what are we going to do today, the objectives of today's program. We'll talk about the past tense. What is past tense? And identifying the past tense, the different types of past tense. We'll talk about the simple past tense in various situations. For example, in case of an affirmative sentence, in case of a negative sentence, and in case of an interrogative form where you ask a question. Then we'll talk about the second type of past tense, which is the past perfect tense. Again, we'll have to discuss a lot of examples and do a lot of exercises. So I hope you're all set for the past tense. Good. Let's start with the past tense. What is past tense? It shouldn't be a problem for you now. I've already told you. Yes, whenever you're talking about something which has already happened, some history, something which happened in history, you're trying to memorize something or remember something, that kind of statement is called a statement in past tense. For example, I had gone to Fun City last year. This is something which had happened last year. You're not going to Fun City right now, or you're not planning to go later on. You've already been there. So it is a case of past tense. Now we know that each tense has four forms: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Let's discuss about the simple form of the past tense. I'll start with an example. Ravi went to Fun City yesterday. Now, what tells you that this action has already occurred? The word yesterday, of course, because yesterday is something जो गुजर चुका है, पिछले कल. So you come to know it is past tense. And using the simple verb went in its past form tells you it is simple past tense. Let's talk about the verb formation in simple past tense. First we have the subject like Simran, followed by the second form of the verb. For example, Simran studied English. Simran studied English. Simran followed by the verb in its second form. This is the verb formation in case of simple past tense. Let's move on to a comprehension, and it's exercise time for you. I'll read out some sentences for you, and later on you need to identify something for me. Don't worry, just concentrate on the sentences first, and I'll tell you what you're supposed to do later on. So it's an exercise in a comprehension, and the name is the past simple boy. Okay, interesting name? Alright, let's start with the comprehension. Hello everybody, my name is Past Simple Boy because I'm very nostalgic and I always talk about the past. I hope you know the meanings of the different words. If not, please keep your dictionaries with you. This is an old picture of me. I was 18 in this picture. It was 13 years ago. I joined DAV college that year. I lived with my friends Babli and happy in a nearby paying guest accommodation. We didn't study much. We played street cricket every day. On weekends, we went to play at the city stadium. And every time there was an international cricket match in the city, we cheered for Team India. I finished my studies in 1995 and went on to work as a school teacher. Life is not bad, but those days were fantastic. How was this extract? Interesting? Do you find any similarities between you and the past simple boy? Not yet. Why? Because now he's not a simple boy. He's talking about past. He's remembering his good old days. So let's move on and let's start the round 1 of the quiz session. I'll read out a sentence and according to the sentence, ask you a question. I am very nostalgic and I always talk about the past. This is a sentence from the comprehension. Now, what does this sentence mean? This means he is sentimental. You need to tell me whether I am correct or not. According to me, the meaning of this sentence is that he is sentimental. Is it true, false, or unclear? What do you think? It is true because the word I'm very nostalgic and I always talk about the past means he's always talking and thinking about his good old days and he's a sentimental person. So the answer is true. Good. Next one. How old is the past simple boy? The options are 13, 18, 31. Now you will not find the number as it is. Apply your brain. Go and calculate. Read the extract carefully. Do some addition, subtraction, whatever, and then you'll get his current age. Yes. What is his age now? Very good. It is 31 because he's looking at a picture which was taken 18 years ago and that time in that picture he was 13. So you add 13 and 18, you get 31. Next one. Again, I'll read a sentence and a question will follow. We didn't study much. We played street cricket every day. On weekends, we went to play at the city stadium. What does this mean? This means that the past simple boy, the 3 options you have, had aimed to be a professional cricketer, represented his college as a cricketer, played cricket for the fun of it. Now I've read out 2 lines for you. You need to tell me that from these 2 lines, what can you make out about the past simple boy? Did he aim to be a professional cricketer? Did he represent his college as a cricketer? Or he just played cricket for fun? Go through the lines again. Try to get the meaning. I'll tell you the answer. The answer is he played cricket only for fun, the 3rd option. It wasn't his future profession or he did not play for his college. It was just for fun, for enjoyment. Next one. Again, I'll read out some lines for you. I finished my studies in 1995 and went on to work as a school teacher. Life is not bad, but those days were fantastic. Why are those days better than these days? This is the question. Why does he say that those days were fantastic? Your options are: he does not have a good job, he had no responsibilities then, he had regrets about not being more studious. Try and read through the lines and bring out the meaning. he does not have a good job, he had no responsibilities then, or he has regrets about not being more studious. Quickly, tell me which is the correct one. Yes, he had no responsibilities then because he was very young. Now let's come back to the discussion on simple past tense. Let's discuss about it a bit more. The simple past tense is usually used with the time, date, month, year when it happened. I'll give you an example so that you can understand what I just said. They arrived at 7. Now the action of arriving was at 7 o'clock. I'm specifying a time. The simple past tense is usually associated with a time or a date or a month or a year, anything like that. They arrived at 7, verb in its past form, 7 telling you about the time, sentence becoming your simple past sentence. Next one. He didn't come to school yesterday. Which day? Yesterday. Again, telling you about a specific day. I met him in December 1995. You've specified the month, you've specified the year. When did you meet? In 1995. And the verb used is met. The entire sentence becomes your simple past tense sentence. Next one. Jennifer moved on April 21st. Jennifer moved on April 21st. Move is in the past form, moved, and again a month and date is specified. Next. Her father died last year. When did that happen? Pichle saal. You've told a time. You are specifying it. Again, it becomes a simple past sentence. Next one. She bought her house 9 weeks ago. Now, bought is the past form of buy. The thing, the action took place 9 weeks ago. Long time, not right now. So, buy changed to bought. She bought her house 9 weeks ago, past time. Let's see, when do we use the past simple tense? Let's check out the use of the past simple tense. The actions that started and finished in the past are represented using the simple past tense. Actions that happened one after the other in the past. It could be a series of actions that happened one after the other, but all in past, not right now. The simple past tense can also be used for a short action in the past that interrupts a longer action. So maybe एक लंबा काम हो रहा था, उस लंबे काम में कोई छोटा काम बीच में आ गया, वो पहले ही खत्म हो गया, पास्ट में ही खत्म हो गया. So such action can also be represented using a simple past tense. Just go through these 3 points right now so that when we move further, the concept of simple past tense becomes clear to you. Understood? Good. Now, if you've understood these 3 definitions related to the simple past tense, I have a small exercise for you. You need to pick out the right option. Let's start with the exercise. The first one, My parents bought this house 6 months ago. This is a statement. You need to tell me something about this statement. I have 3 options for you. Select the best possible one. First option, the action that started and finished in the past. Is this statement depicting an action which started and finished in the past? Second option, action that happened one after the other in the past. एक के बाद एक. कुछ ऐसा दिखा रहा है ये. Third one, a short action in the past that interrupts a longer one. Now you analyze, go through the statement and let me know which is the correct option. Yes? Right. It is the first option. It shows an action that started and finished in the past. Because the action is my parents bought this house. उन्होंने पहले इसे खरीदा और खरीद चुके हैं. खत्म भी हो चुका है. It's not going on right now. So first option is the correct one. Next one, the next question. The firemen had an accident while they were practicing emergency procedures. The firemen had an accident while they were practicing emergency procedures. What do you know about this sentence? The 3 options. Action that started and finished in the past. Actions that happened one after the other in the past. Or a short action in the past that interrupts a longer one. Yes, what does it show? The third one, a short action in the past that interrupts a longer one. Because what is the statement you have? The firemen had an accident while they were practicing emergency procedures. Now there were certain emergency procedures, a series of procedures, a long one, long action going on, and in between that long action, small action of accident happened. So it is a short action in the past that had interrupted a long one. Got it? Good. Let's move on to the next one. The door opened and a tiny dog entered the room. The door opened and a tiny dog entered the room. Again, the options are the same, the ones that you had for the previous one. First is action that started and finished in the past. Actions that happened one after the other in the past. A short action in the past that interrupts a longer one. Now tell me, this sentence relates to the good second option. Actions that happened one after the other in the past. एक के बाद एक हुए actions. Now these were some examples and I hope after this exercise you are now comfortable about when to use the simple past tense. Now I'll read out some sentences for you. Listen to me carefully, read them from your workbook and tell me which of these sentences are in the past tense. First sentence, he worked in that factory in 2001. Next, they cleaned the room last Monday. Next, I have never spoken to him. Next, we live in Kurukshetra. When did you start school? Next, when do you get up? So attempt the exercise quickly and let me know which all sentences are not in the past tense. Done it? Alright, let's check and let's see how many of you get all of them correct. Now I'll just say the sentences which are in the past tense, and the remaining ones you can simply cross out. The first sentence which is in the past tense is, he worked in that factory in 2001. That means he has worked. He's not working there right now. The action has already taken place. Next, they cleaned this room last Monday. Now the action of cleaning was done last Monday. Becomes past tense. Next one, when did you start school? When did you start school? The statement shows that the other person had started school long ago. It's not a recent action. Therefore, again, it's in the past tense. Now, we've discussed the simple past tense. Let's just discuss another concept related to this tense. We have different kinds of statements and sentences. We have the affirmative sentence, which shows a positive statement, a negative one, and an interrogative, a question statement. So let's see how we can use the past tense in each of these statements. For example, I lived in Ganganagar when I was young. That means it's a past action and it's a positive statement. It's nothing to do with a negative aspect. Next one, I didn't or I did not study much, but I was lucky and passed my exams. Now you're telling about an action which did not occur. You did not study. This makes it a negative statement, and the statement is in the past form. Next one, did your parents study when they were young? Question mark. Wherever you have a question mark, it's an interrogative sentence, and because you're talking about a past action, therefore it becomes an interrogative sentence in the past tense. Now I have some sentences which are in the past simple tense, and they can be either affirmative, interrogative, or a negative sentence. What you need to do is, you need to fill in the blank with the correct form of the verb. I'll give you the verb in brackets and read out the sentence. Just fill in the blank and use the correct form of the verb. The first sentence. He dash in that office 3 years ago. The word you have in brackets is work. Now you need to make it a past tense sentence. So just go ahead and think, how can you use the word work so that the sentence becomes in a past form? Next, she didn't dash him what she dash. The two words you have in bracket, tell and want. Use the correct form. Next, we dashed the window because we were feeling hot. The word you can use is open. Next, I dash to him when I dash. I dash to him when I dash. The two words are talk and arrive. Use them in the correct form. Next one. Did you dash your teeth? The word you can use is brush. Next. Did they dash the film last night? Word that you can use, see. Use it in the correct form. Next. I didn't dash it because I didn't dash time. I didn't dash it because I didn't dash time. The two words that can be used are do and have. Quickly attempt the exercise. Don't forget to use the verb in the correct form. That's all that is required from your side. Okay, let's discuss the solutions to the exercise. The first one, he worked in that office 3 years ago. The word work has been used in the past form because we are studying the simple past tense, and I asked you to use the verbs so that they make the sentence in the past form. So work becomes worked, ed. Next, she didn't tell him what she wanted. Tell और wanted को आपने ऐसे यूज किया कि पूरा सेंटेंस पास्ट फॉर्म में हो गया. Next, we opened the window because we were feeling hot. Next, I talked to him when I arrived. Both the words end with ed. Next one, did you brush your teeth? Next, did they see the film last night? Next, I didn't do it because I didn't have time. Okay, so these were the answers to the exercise. If you found some of them tough, don't worry. Go ahead and revise the simple past tense once again, and I'm sure you'll be able to find the correct answers to all of them, and you'll be able to attend them on your own next time. So we've discussed about the simple past tense in a lot of detail. Now comes the time for the past perfect tense. Now, before doing the past perfect tense, do you remember the present perfect tense? You do? Okay. Tell me then, which two words do you use there to make the sentence perfect? Have or has, depending upon singular or plural. Similarly, in the past perfect tense, you use the word had. Had makes the sentence in the past perfect form. For example, the bus had left before Lata reached the stop. बस पहले ही जा चुकी थी लता के पहुंचने से पहले. Again, we are talking about an action which has already taken place, and the word had converts the sentence into a past perfect form of the tense. Let's see some examples, and you can see how we use the had in order to make the sentence in the past perfect form. I had arrived, or I had eaten. Either you can write I had arrived, or you can simply write I apostrophe D, which means I'd. That's a short form, a contraction. Another one, you had arrived, or you'd arrived. You had eaten. He had eaten. He had arrived. All these sentences are in the past perfect form. Easy ones, just need to use had. And don't forget that the word or the verb has to be in the past form. Another one, she had arrived. She had eaten. Next, it had arrived. We are changing the subject, and you can see that all the sentences represent a past perfect form. We had eaten, or we had arrived. They had arrived. They had eaten. all the examples show us a past perfect form of the tense. Let's see some more examples, different sentences, so that you become comfortable with the past perfect tense. I installed the program I had bought from Microsoft. It is an action you have already done. And how do you know it's the perfect tense? Because you have the word had followed by the past form of by. I installed the program I had bought from Microsoft. Another example, he brought me the scanner he had disconnected from his computer. Again, the word had disconnected tell you it's in the past perfect form, and even the word brought. What is the present form of the word brought? Yes, you've done the present tense. Very good. It is bring. But because right now we are talking about the past tense, we'll use the word in the past form. Next, if I had known it, I would not have come here. अगर मुझे पता होता, past tense, if I had known it, तो मैं यहाँ नहीं आता. The entire sentence is in past form. Another one, if she had found out how much he snores, she would never have married him. Again, it's an action which has already taken place. You can't help her now because she's already been married to that man who snores a lot. Another one, they told us the experiment had never been conducted before. They told us, past, the experiment had never been conducted. Again, past. Now let's discuss some more statements which bring out the past perfect tense. When we arrived, the concert had already finished. You're talking about the past, and you're also telling that when you arrived, past, the concert had already finished. Both the actions, your arrival and the finishing of the concert, are in the past. Another one, by the time I watched my favorite program, I had drunk a cup of tea. Okay, again depicting a past action. Before I was born, my grandfather had gone to war. Before I was born. This is one past action, and you're talking about an action which had already occurred. Your grandfather had gone. It is not that he is going or will go. He had gone. Let's discuss a question in the past perfect form. Had he known some words before he started learning English? Now it is a simple question. क्या उसे कुछ words पता थे English सीखने से पहले? Past tense में है और एक question है और perfect form में है. Another one. Had they had any pet before they bought the giraffe? Now you're again asking someone that before you got this giraffe, they already have the giraffe. That is also a past action, but you are confirming that before you got this giraffe, had you got any other pet? इससे पहले भी कोई pet था? The word था tells you the past action. Let's see some examples of negative statements. I had not seen Delhi before I drove there in this summer. I had not. The word not makes the entire sentence negative. Bindu didn't call me before her train had reached the station. Again a negative sentence in the past form, the past perfect form. Now I have a small extract for you. Listen to me carefully, and you need to identify the verbs in the past perfect form. Don't forget that in the past perfect form, the word had is attached to the verb. Let's start with the extract. Ravinder had dressed for a black tie dinner. He had planned to reach his friend's house at 8. He searched for the keys of his bike. Where had he put them? He called his friend Satish. Satish was waiting for him to pick him up en route. Ravinder explained that he had lost his keys. Satish laughed. It had happened before. Satish called Mohit, the host of the party. Mohit had already heard the story from Ravinder. He had advised Ravinder not to flap. He was busy tonight. He told Satish to talk to Ravinder. Now what do you think? Is Ravinder a responsible person? No, not at all. उससे तो अपनी बाइक की चाबी ही नहीं संभाली जाती. I hope you are not like him. Good. अपनी चीजें संभाल के रखा करो, वरना आपकी भी स्टोरी बन जाएगी रविंदर की तरह. Okay? Let me read out the story quickly for you once again, and then we'll see how many of you got the verbs in the past perfect tense correct. Ravinder had dressed for a black tie dinner. He had planned to reach his friend's house at 8. He searched for the keys of his bike. Where had he put them? He called his friend Satish. Satish was waiting for him to pick him en route. Ravinder explained that he had lost his keys. Satish laughed. It had happened before. Satish called Mohit, the host of the party. Mohit had already heard the story from Ravinder. He had advised Ravinder not to flap. He was busy tonight. He told Satish to talk to Ravinder. Now let's check out the various verbs which are in the past perfect form. The first verb is had dressed. I gave you a hint before starting the exercise that the verb will be accompanied with the word had. First one is had dressed. Next, had planned. The word plan accompanied by had. Next, had happened. Next, had already heard. And next one, had advised. These were some verbs which were in the past perfect form. So today we learned about the past tense, what is past tense, and we've discussed two forms of the past tense, the simple past tense and the past perfect tense. We did a lot of exercises, and I hope that after so much of practice you have a good idea of the two forms we've done today. But just doing what I've told you is not enough. You need to go ahead and try and make some sentences of your own. Write a small story using past perfect tense or using past simple tense, and let's see how many of you get all the sentences right. Get the story checked from your class teacher. Until next time, bye-bye and take care.